Go.
Too high.
Get money. Yeah, what's some new J. Cole coming out? I need some new Cole in my life.
Who
All right, bet. So, I was thinking for the show. I mean, we're going to talk about
That's
obviously, Wanda Vision and One Night in Miami. Anybody have anything else they wanted to cover? Anything that's on your heart?
Before
Whatnot?
we do go though, has is everybody caught up yet on Wanda Vision?
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched
yesterday.
it before work yesterday, which was a huge mistake.
Okay. And I like some of your takes too, Teffy, about your predictions. So I got some more questions for you too. So
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, I watched y'all show last week.
Yeah.
Y'all left a lot.
What?
You said
Say
what?
again?
I was saying I watched the show that y'all did with the WandaVision,
yeah.
and I wanted to wish I could just jumped in because I had a lot of stuff to say.
So
Okay.
you can call. We have
Okay.
a HNIC call line. My sister calls every week. I hate it. But you can call us if you type in the chat. We respond to you live. It's not always a great thing because I personally have been known to call people out on some of the dumb stuff they say.
Get
I've
him.
had people call in and I'd be like, first of all, fuck that bitch in the click you claim.
Oh, hit him up.
But that's one of the things that actually really drew me to the show was being able to like talk to them like in real life. It wasn't just something I recorded and then listened to. Like once I caught the show live, I was hooked because I would be like, I could comment and then they would shout me out. They'd be like, hey, thanks, Tef, you made a really good point. And then I would call in and
he
I'd
was
be
like,
like,
oh snap, they care.
yeah,
You
no,
know,
and then
everybody.
even as a fan, I'd be like, so first of all, let me tell you about how every single one of y'all is wrong. And literally, I got on the show being a loudmouth.
That's dope.
Listen, you gotta have that though. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that mix of personalities. That's important.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so we might as well go ahead and get started, man. Everybody seemed to be warmed up and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want to
Sorry,
welcome
I'm trying to-
everybody to. Okay, go ahead.
No, sorry, I'm trying to fix. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I'm like, I'm not well lit. I didn't put this lipstick on to not be well lit. Okay, you can go.
All right, cool. Welcome everybody to episode 18 of the Geek Salad podcast. I'm your host, Christopher R. Quest. We got my boy G. We got the honorary member, Stats Guy, aka Brandon, and we got a special guest in the building. From HNIC, we got the beautiful, the wonderful, the woman, the myth, the legend, Teffy Wonder. Give it up. Give it up, Teff.
What's up, guys? I am at Teffy Wonder here. I'm your wonderful melanated mocha-fied merge on, coming all the way over here to the Geek Salad Now podcast, using what little spare time I have to come geek out with some new guys, get on some other people's nerves for a change.
Hey, we here. We all here for today. So thank you for gracing us today, Chris. So what we got today on the docket, my brother?
All right, so we got a few things, man. We're gonna jump right into it. Everybody has been talking about WandaVision episode 5, so I want to get you guys' take on that. One thing I thought was cool. Every episode seems to jump up a decade in the TV show aspect. I think the first episode was like maybe the 60s, then it kind of went to the 70s, and this past episode was the 80s. And it actually had a big surprise at the end of the episode. So I just want to go around the panel and get you guys' thoughts on episode 5.
Ladies first, Teffy.
Oh my God. So I couldn't really sleep the night before. I had surgery. I'm going to preface this. I had 2 surgeries last year. So I've been kind of like really back and forth with like my sleeping and my bedding situation. So I kind of at the point now where I'm just like, okay, I think I can take these 1,000 pillows out of my bed because now I can't sleep. So I actually ended up getting up really early to watch it before work, which was such a mistake because
Why
then
you say that? Why
I
was
couldn't
it a
think
mistake?
about anything else.
Same thing here. Yep.
I was in the shower like, oh my God, what is going? Why did I do this to myself? I should have waited to watch it after work like I usually do.
Yo, that's wild.
I was at work. Like, did you watch WandaVision? Did
And
you watch WandaVision?
they was like,
Did you
nah,
watch WandaVision?
because they're not dedicated like we dedicated. It was
Right.
like, girl, I'm gonna watch that when I feel like watching. I don't gotta watch it right. It just came out 20 seconds ago. I don't need to watch it.
Literally everybody at my job was like, I'll watch it this weekend.
Hey, Brandon, how about you, man?
I really liked it. Especially the end when Pedro came back and she was like, I can't believe they recasted Pedro. I thought that was funny. But I like how you can really tell Vision is really starting to see what's going on and understand that something is wrong. Even he said he couldn't remember himself anything before he came there. And then all the stuff from the other shows really started to think back and how it's really starting to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even Sword, like where's Sword been this whole time? If they've been around since the 90s, it seems like almost. Why we never heard about Sword before?
Right.
So it just gives me a lot of questions.
Okay. Chris?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was dope. I thought the coolest part was, like Brandon said, the new Quicksilver at the end. That just opened up a whole new can of worms because coming into it, everybody knows they're going to be introducing mutants into the MCU soon. Okay, cool. So Disney got the rights from Fox. Okay, so, but now it's like you already mixing those worlds up, man. And like, I had so many questions coming into the episode, right? Then throughout the episode, a Vision gets, like a recollection of, his old self back a little bit. And then they go into the backstory as to why they're at where they're at. Because she just broke in and stole the body of Vision and all of this and that. But then it's like the Quicksilver from Fox comes in and it's just like, what? And then the episode just ends. You know what I'm saying? They kind of left us on the cliffhanger so we would do what we're doing right now, which is talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder how Marvel is going to pull this off, man. It's like a lot of moving parts. I'm thinking that the new Doctor Strange movie is going to touch on a lot of this stuff.
Right.
We're talking about different universes and the multiverse and all of that good stuff.
But it also sets up with Spider-Man 3 too.
Is that?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
here's my take, y'all.
So
So
characters can come back, and they said Doc Ock is coming back, and you can see how all that stuff can happen now.
it's layers, man. Let me ask y'all this: do y'all think everything is going on just because of Wanda, or there's a second party that we're not seeing behind the veil?
That's definitely a third party.
It's gotta be, right? Like the main villain can't be Wanda for the whole season. You think? I don't think they'll do that.
Well,
The whole season.
I'm gonna tell y'all why. So Teffy talked about it in her recap a week or two ago.
Wait, are you talking about the one on the show or where I got drunk
On your
on my
IG
live
page.
for my birthday?
So you got drunk in your
My bad. On your IG page.
Yeah, when I got drunk. Oh, the next day, the one that made sense, not the 2-hour rambling.
We do our homework on Geek Salad, Teffy. We know.
So House of M, as everybody known about the comic book storyline right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So pretty much we all know that she's having like a breakdown, maybe, we don't know, right? And she's creating this alternate reality in Westview, and she's bringing in Pietro from a different franchise. So like y'all saying, it could lead up to, all of these different properties within the MCU to, cross and bend realities between X-Men and Deadpool in the MCU. Maybe, like Brandon was saying, this could lead to somehow everybody coming up together. I'm really worried about how they're going to make it happen, because also people are talking about how Mephisto could be involved because of Agnes, aka Agatha, which is like, Marvel's version of the devil, you know what I'm saying? But Disney being a family brand ain't gonna go that far. So who else could be involved doing this with Wanda?
Okay, so can I go? Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I talked about this definitely more than once. Definitely on my Instagram page. You can follow me over there at Teffy Wonder, on the road to trying to hit the those quadruple digits in my follower account, hopefully by May. I'm over here hustling. But I did talk about this twice on the live and also on the show, where I definitely think we are headed in House of M territory. So where we are now with Wanda Vision, Wanda steals Vision's body from Sword, which made me beg the question, what the fuck is Sword doing with his body if Vision had it in his will that he didn't want to be anybody's weapon? So what the fuck was y'all doing with it all torn apart? Huh? Y'all not innocent. I don't fucking trust you, Hayward.
Right.
You can catch all these hands, motherfucker. So there's number one. Sorry, can I cuss on here?
You can.
Do you?
Okay, sorry. All right. Anyway, moving on. So
Shit.
number one, what are y'all doing with his body? Because if he didn't want to be anybody's weapon, what you doing? He should have been like in cold storage, like folded up in like some old shoes in a storage container or something somewhere. Like theoretically, right? He was living, sentient. He has a soul, a personality. He had wishes. It didn't look like Sword was respecting him either. So for them to get all uppity and be like, Wanda stole his body, Wanda was the closest thing he had to like actual family. So if anything, she's entitled to his body, not y'all. That's number one. Number two is, I keep telling people this and people like, nobody really believes me. I do not think Wanda is crazy. Not yet. I think she is grieving as a mother myself, as a sister myself. I have 9 siblings and an only child. If I lost anything close to what Wanda has lost, I like, grief makes people act out like in really strange ways. I think she is grieving. I think she is trying to like process like all these horrible things that have happened to her in a relatively short time span, like as well. Like her and Pietro like bonded through their shared trauma of losing their parents and then the experimentation at the hands of Hydra. They then made a full 180 about face to help the Avengers after being tricked by Ultron, for her only to lose her brother, gained this new family in the Avengers, gain a lover in Vision, and then the Avengers fucking fall apart in Civil War, and then her and Vision having a little on the run canoodle side time just for Thanos to come rip my homeboy's brain out. Sis has been through a lot. She needs time. She needs to process. She is grieving, which I 100% understand. I think, and I said, I think she's being manipulated. Somebody offered her something. Someone showed her something. I think it's either Mephisto or Nightmare. Somebody in like a video I watched said that it could be Mojo because of the whole TV aspect.
Okay, that's deep.
Yeah, so I think it's like Mephisto or Nightmare. Somebody offered her something, offered her the chance to experience the loss, to experiencing the things that she would not have lost had Thanos not been involved. So I think she is trying to like work through this, and right now there's 5 stages of grief. So there's like bargaining, depression. I think she's getting to like the anger stage right now, was with Sword playing games and shit. So I think that is what's happening. Wanda Vision leads directly into Spider-Man 3. So I think what we're gonna see at the end of the series is, I think Vision is going to die again, and then she's gonna go batshit crazy. That's gonna cause the tear in the fabric of reality. That's where we get these multiple Spider-Men from. Then Doctor Strange is going to show up and be like, who broke it? What is happening? And he gonna come in and be like, get out of my way, move, let me fix
that.
it.
I like that, because that opens up the MCU not to be the standard hero versus villain. Hero wins, that's it. This way we get to have Wanda opening up these different multiverses, and then we get better stories pretty much, instead of the last 10 years it's been the same, almost kind of like formula.
Right. And also I believe the dialogue in the show is very intentional. So I believe Wanda, when she is talking, specifically when she is talking to Vision and to Tommy and Billy, that she is telling the truth. Like, she's like, no, death is permanent, and yes, you will want to run away from this experience, but it is okay, and you have to go through these things because this this is something that you're going to have to deal with in the real world. And, you know, so she was like, yes, maybe I cheated, but in real life, that's not how that works. So, and then when she's talking to Vision later, and she goes, this isn't even, I don't even know how this started. That I think is very true. I think she is telling the truth. And when the knock at the door happens and it's Pietro, she's like, I didn't do that. She has no real reason to lie to Vision in this instance because he already does not believe her. And
Do you think he's really Pietro?
So I think he is a version of Pietro, crafted by whoever our main orchestrator is. So I don't think he's this Wanda's Pietro. My dad and I, my parents are also really big geeks, so which is why I get such a fiery passion
wow.
for it.
So you had no chance. Like,
I really didn't. My dad used to read comic books to me when I was little. So,
nice.
So my dad was like, I was like, so what happens to Pietro, this Pietro's Wanda? Because she's a child in the other movies. Like his Wanda is really small. And he's like, bruh, she's been consolidated. She doesn't exist anymore. So I think I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see this consolidation of the different universes. And some people are going to make the cut and others are not. Pietro made the cut. His Wanda did not. Because our Wanda is here and she's the star of our universe.
Look, the Pietro that they showed at the end of the episode was a better Quicksilver anyway. You know
Don't be like that. Aaron Taylor Johnson did the best job
me.
he could do.
Fight me.
Don't blame Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Was so much more
that.
interested, and his dialogue was written better. He was a better Quicksilver.
So that again, I don't like to blame actors for stuff that's not their fault. If a character is poorly written, they are poorly written by the writers. They are poorly produced by producers. They are poorly directed by the directors. And people love to blame actors, but I'm like, I've seen Aaron Taylor Johnson in other shit. Like if you've seen Kick-Ass, that's him. Aaron Taylor Johnson can act. He did. I think he did the best he could given the situation. So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do y'all think
you gotta raise your hand, bro? Raise your hand.
It's a head. Do y'all think the head of sword is bad? Because I think something's up with him.
Oh, Hayward can kiss my ass. He's totally up to some bullshit.
I mean, you kind of gotta be that way though. Like you can't be all cuddly with everybody. You're trying to protect the universe. I mean, I'm gonna protect the Earth from threats from outside of Earth. And given you're in a universe where all 3 Avengers movies happen, you gotta be like that. Come on now, like
I think whoever's the bad guy, I think he's
all nice and cuddly.
Yeah, I mean his character is written to me in a way. It's like he knows more of what is going on. Like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
There's something else that he's not letting us know. So he knows something else more about what is going on with Wanda directly.
He's like Nick Fury, but sus.
Mad sus.
So where you
sus.
trusted Nick Fury to know more of what was going on than what he let on, you don't trust Haywood the same way. You'd be like, no, nigga, you about to get us into some fuck shit. Just say what it is.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Isn't Nick Fury with the
Skrulls?
The Skrulls, but I thought that was Sword, or is that something else?
Okay, so I think that's Sword, like space Sword, because they changed the Sword a little bit for the MCU, the movie universe. Right. So instead of it being like, I forget, it's like the something world like organization, entity, whatever shit. So what it is in the show, it's the sentient weapon observation and recording like division, whatever that is. So Sword in the comic books is like the space version of Sword. Sword and Shield work together. Shield is here on Earth. Shield defends Earth. Sword defends our space. So I believe that's how it starts, like based on the context clues that we get from episode 4. Because when Monica Rambeau comes back and she's like, bro, what's up? And he's like, well, all but like 4 of our astronauts are missing. And somebody was like, it's the Fantastic Four. And like only 4 of our astronauts came back. And so I believe they were doing space missions. Like her mom, Maria, was like out there. She was out there being great. like trudging through space, doing cool shit out there. So it begs the question. So now they have decided they're no longer going to pursue space. Sword is going to step in where Shield, I don't know, is not all of a sudden, I guess. And now they're watching the stuff happening like on Earth. And I was like, girl, mind your business. Where Nick Fury at? Bring Nick back.
So are they flirting with the idea that the girl, what's her name, Photon, that she doesn't have powers at this point? Yo, shout out to Teyana Paris too, the very beautiful, talented Teyana Paris, playing Photon and Wanda.
I love her hair.
She
I was
everything
yes,
like
come
for real,
through,
like
natural hair, big lips, brown.
I think she has. I think she has her powers. She just doesn't know it yet.
Okay.
I think she came through because if you notice, they were saying when they did like the scans on her body,
clothes,
something was
her body.
No, when they did the scans on her body at the beginning,
Yeah, they're taking like MRIs.
they were saying something was wrong.
Yeah, they were all blank.
Yeah, they were blank. Yeah. So I think something is happening now. She just doesn't know it yet.
Okay.
I want to know what's the beef between her and Captain Marvel. Because when they told her about it, she was like, I don't want to talk about
like, what was that face?
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I had to watch it a second time because I thought I imagined it the first time. I was like, no, she didn't.
Was that before? Hold on. Okay, so wait, was that before or after she found out that her mother was dead?
It's way after.
It was after.
She finds out her mother's dead in episode 4.
So maybe she think Captain Marvel had to do something with that. Because remember, before she was part of the blip, so she blipped out.
The snap. The snap. We don't do blip.
They call it, they call it the
snap.
blip in the show, and it's the dumbest thing in the world.
The nigga Thanos went like this, people turned into dust. But look, I was like, I'm thinking like maybe she blames her for that. She blames her for her mother's dying. Like, why you weren't there for my mother? I've seen a couple.
Bruh, you wasn't there for your mom when she died.
I'm saying she blipped away. It's not her fault. You know? No, but see, true. Okay, yeah, that is kind of true. Whatever. If you got blip, you get a pass. This is.
I mean, I'm not saying she's not got misplaced anger because she also was snapped out of existence. She left. Her mom had a successful surgery. She was cancer free. She came back, found out that not only did the cancer come back, but her mom going, and she decided she was going to go back to work instead of also grieving. So I see, like, you see where this trauma-led behavior is leading us. It's like, how about we get everybody some superpowered therapy? Let's just sit down, have us a little powwow.
Yo, DC did that. DC had did you catch the comic book series? It's like Heroes in Crisis or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was. Overall, I just thought it was all right, but that was an interesting take. Like, for those who are watching and don't know, Heroes in Crisis, it was more or less, you had all these heroes who got together after an event, and they were like actually going to therapy. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Well, they kind of like interwove that into a story, and it was a bad guy in the story, so I don't remember exactly what happened, but you know, they like sitting down talking to a therapist, like Superman sitting down, and the therapist got his little notepad out, like, you know, how did it make you feel when Lois, you know what I'm saying, did this? You know what I'm saying? I thought it was an interesting take.
It was, yeah.
I think that's dope. I'm a huge proponent of like therapy and figuring your shit out,
No doubt.
because so you don't, if for no other reason, then you don't do what Wanda is doing and taking like your baggage out on other people. It's like, sis, you got a whole town trapped in there. Like, damn.
So, a question for everybody. So, seeing this episode 5, what is everybody's prediction on how the show will end?
Oh, I didn't say it. My Vision gonna die. Wanda gonna lose her cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that too. I do see it at some point in time, Wanda just really flipping out. They're not gonna let her go too far. Like, she's not gonna kill nobody because she's still a good guy.
I want to see that. I want to see that though.
I think that would be realistic, but I don't think the writers would allow that to happen.
They're gonna save that for Multiverse of Madness because she's actually currently shooting for that right now.
Okay.
And that comes out not this year, but next year, I believe.
How many episodes in this season did they say?
9.
So we got 4 more. I give it one more episode like this where they still kind of like revealing stuff. And I'll say by episode 7, we're gonna see who the real bad guy is. And
they said it's 6 30-minute. It's 6 30-minute episodes, and the last 3 episodes are hour-long, like movie type episodes.
Yes, it's like Watchmen, like that 55, that hardcore 55 minutes of.
Yeah.
I love that.
We need
That's
that.
awesome.
We need that.
Yeah, no, because I was definitely thinking that. I was like, 9 episodes is not enough for what I know is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, don't fuck with me. Don't do me like this with these like 22-minute episodes. Don't you dare. So that actually makes me feel really glad to know that episode, what's that, 7, 8, 9 are gonna be like 55 minutes. That makes me feel way better because we had 55 minutes for every episode of, what was it, Lovecraft Country, and they still kind of fumbled the end a little bit with that.
Yes. I wonder what's going to happen with the twins. Will they be willed into existence once this is over, or will they just vanish?
Did you notice how she couldn't control them, though?
Yep.
How they are sentient now, kind of like how Vision is becoming. So Vision, I believe so what I was explaining this, I think, to one of my cousins, where I was like, I was talking to my dad. So I was like, I believe she is like imbuing him with like her essence, with her magic, to try and like terribly reanimate his corpse, as horrifying as that sounds. So that's why he has like the dead face in that one episode. So he is like now coming online and alive.
Coming.
Shush. So he's now like alive on his own, separate from her. So whereas before she was like pouring into him, I think Vision is now fully like automated. I really hate that, but he is a machine and I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, so I think that's interesting because she was like, can't I? And he was like, I'll knock all this shit over.
Right. It's going to be interesting, y'all. I mean, we got 4 more episodes left. So, we're going to see how things get wrapped up. See if our theories do, meet the actual end of the show. So I can't wait. I don't know about y'all, but next Friday can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, because next week is the 90s, and then we're going to come up to current time. So next week is, what do you think next week's theme is? Because this week was Full House.
Yeah.
And
TGIF style.
Yeah, it was like Full House and not All in the Family, because that was 70s.
Modern Family.
So no, Modern Family is the end.
Yeah.
Because Modern Family is the most recent of those like TV sitcoms. I think next week is going to be kind of like Family Matters or something like that.
Yeah, like Roseanne, something like that.
Yes, I think next week will be like Roseanne, Family Matters, and then like when we get into those hour-long episodes, then we're going to get into like Modern Family, kind of like Blackish, like these ultra modern now like TV sitcoms.
I wonder how that's going to work. Like, it's got to be more than just them doing a rendition of these type of family shows, but they got to get to like, all right, we got to wrap up towards the end of this so it can all make sense. So that's trying to figure out how that's all going to fix in.
I don't think they're going to wrap it up because, like I said, we know for a fact that this story continues through 2 other movies. So I don't actually think I don't think it's going to be a satisfying conclusion. I think we're going to be left on like a really delicious cliffhanger.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It doesn't make sense to wrap the story up and then tear it back open in these next 2 movies. So
I feel you.
Really mad I'm not going to see the conclusion of this story until next year with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's one of them things.
It's like when Infinity War ended and it was like, where's the rest of it?
Yo, let me tell you the first time I remember that feeling. Do you remember way back in the day, like, Teff, I don't know, because you might be a little bit younger than us, Teff. Teff, if you don't mind telling us how old you are.
Just be like
roundabout. You know what I'm saying? Roundabout.
No, I don't mind telling you. I'm 30. I just turned 33.
Oh, you still young though. But no, we like in our late 30s. So whatever. So we're a little bit older than you. So anyway, okay. I remember back when the first Lord of the Rings movie came out, and I was just in the movie theater. I was probably like 14, 15, somewhere in there, and I was, this is so dope. And I was like, wait a minute, this movie been going on for like 2.5 hours, and they ain't reached the conclusion of it yet. What's going on? And then it just like it ended. I was like, yo, That's the earliest I remember having that feeling of having to wait another year or 2 years to, get some resolution to it.
That was like, I want to say that was like my first big trilogy.
Me
Like
too.
where where like most people like their first big trilogy was maybe like Star Wars, and like
Yep.
no, that like Lord of the Rings was that for me. So that was my first time having to be like, bruh, I gotta wait. Are you sick? But again, my parents are both really
Damn you, Peter
big.
Jackson.
Right, no, but my parents are both really big readers. I was a really big reader myself, so I ended up like reading them, and
Yeah.
I couldn't get through the first one. I'm a really bad geek, but like, no, the Fellowship of the Ring is so boring.
Wait, hold on, wait a minute. You talking about the book, or you talking about the actual movie?
Nah, the book.
Oh, the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first book.
That book
is
got to be like that thick.
I have them. I have them.
Mm.
So I
blame you for
I read 2, and then I read 2/3 of 3. I was just like, come on. I'll wait for the movie. Y'all irking. I say that, but I've read the Hobbit maybe like 10 times.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We read
I
that in
love
school.
the Hobbit. I went to a poor school in West Philly, so we didn't. I read that for pleasure.
I remember watching the Hobbit animated movie back in the 80s.
The one where Leonard Nimoy has the Bilbo Baggins song.
Man, like, yo, that scene was so scary to me as a child. It scarred me for like years.
Yo, wait. What song was that? Which one was that?
Not the song, but
This
the part where Bilbo getting approached by Smeagol. Man,
Yeah, by Gollum in the dark.
yeah. But yeah.
I've never seen the animated one.
You
Yeah,
gotta
I've
You
never
gotta see
seen the animated one. By the time it became relevant, I had already read the book. So I was like,
We read the book and then watched the animated movie in school.
That you must have went to a really nice school.
No, he didn't. No,
What?
This school was whack. Come on, I've been to your elementary school, bro. Your elementary school was
Never.
whack.
First of all, it was a middle school, sir. Was
Okay.
it?
All right. I stand corrected.
He
but
said, get the right partner.
you know what I'm saying? The middle school was whack too, though. All right, so moving forward, we are going to talk about a movie that actually came out a few weeks ago called One Night in Miami, and it's the story of Jim Brown. Who else is in it? Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X.
So before Muhammad Ali converts, so he's still Cassius Clay here.
Cassius Clay.
You're right. It was still Cassius. It was still Cassius Clay.
Sam Cooke, right?
Sam Cooke. That's right. Great movie. It wasn't. You know what? I don't know what I expected. It was definitely great, but I didn't expect it to be so dialogue heavy because admittedly, I didn't know anything about that night before the movie came out.
So you must not have known then it's actually based on a stage play of the exact same name.
It feels like
based on a play. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So did this actually happen?
Yeah, no. So it is a fictionalized account of one night in Miami where they all happen to be in town at the same time. I believe the fight that happens at the beginning of the movie really really happened.
Yeah, I know the fight
and
was
they
real.
were all they were all actual like real friends, so they did hang out. So this is a fictionalized account of what happens from the time the fight ends to when Muhammad Ali, well, he goes by Cassius Clay at that time, before his like announcement that he comes out, that he is converting to
They did get together though, because it's a picture of all four of them, like a restaurant or something.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's what happens from the time, it's a fictionalized account of what happens from the time the fight is over to when they show up later at this restaurant or diner.
It felt like a play because, most plays are shot in one location.
You're right.
And everybody is just acting.
Oh, baby. And they acted their faces off. Oh, my God. So I knew it was a play going into it. So I was like, okay, we're going to be in this one room and we about to see this room from all corners. It's going to be fine. What I wasn't expecting was for all the like lead up to when they actually meet up that part to me was actually like kind of boring. I was like, come on, when do we
I mean, it can't just be 2 hours of dialogue. You know what I'm saying? They gotta like, you
that
know.
doesn't bother me. I love musicals. I love plays. Like I did plays. Did drama in high school, so I was with it. I was just like, after watching Wanda Vision, I was like, wait a minute. I should have watched this before that. I should have watched this before Wanda Vision because I was waiting for the action to happen. It kind of like ruined me.
I cannot do the musicals. I can't do it. I would say in person, it's a little different live. You know, live theater in person, cool. But just sitting in my house and watching a musical, never do it.
I always suggest that to people, and I always suggest two musicals. Now it's 3 actually. Now that I've seen Hamilton, I always suggest The Lion King live in person because it is hands down one of my best in theater experiences I have ever had. It's amazing. They actually bring the props and the puppets. They swing the birds out over the audience. It's a completely like 360 immersive experience when you go see The Lion King live. It is amazing. And then I also recommend Avenue Q because it is hilarious. It's like Sesame Streets, but for adults. So you have like puppets and people interacting and singing. They curse, they fuck. It is awesome.
Wait, I'm sorry. Look, wait, what? What musical is this?
It's called Avenue Q.
Avenue Q.
Avenue Q.
Avenue Q.
Yeah, it's called Avenue Q. It's if you've ever seen it, it's
it.
just like it's like a really long, very adult episode of Sesame Street. I always recommend it to people who say they don't like musicals. Yeah, no, exactly. I always recommend it to people who say they don't like musicals because I'm just like, it's one of those things where it's like it's just too funny for you not to like it.
Listen, I could do it in person. I don't have any problem.
No, in person, it's awesome. They break the fourth wall at the end of the show. They start asking people for money. It's hilarious. It's so awesome. And then now, after I've seen Hamilton, I 1000% recommend Hamilton to everybody. The only thing is Hamilton is a marathon, not a sprint, because it's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But it's like once you get in with the story of Alexander Hamilton and like all the songs and everything is so dope. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like if it doesn't hook you at the beginning, Hamilton is long. I'm not even me, a person who loves musicals, like around after intermission, I'd be like,
and I don't be mad. I spent $100 for these tickets and I fell asleep. I'll be so pissed. Those tickets were expensive to that.
But me and my friends, we're such huge dorks. We sing Hamilton at parties.
Yo, that's wild.
We'd be like, tomorrow there'll be more of us. Drunk
oh my God, there she goes. The Hamilton twins is back.
Listen, whatever. It'd be like 6 of us out there loud as shit at like 1 a.m. We don't care.
I tried watching Hamilton twice on Disney Plus. I couldn't get through it. I feel like, to me, it's like watching Harry Potter. Like, everybody loves Harry Potter. Everybody go crazy over Harry Potter. I don't get it.
Listen, listen, you about to be real. You about to be real mad at me. I haven't seen not one of the Harry Potter movies. Ain't read one of the books.
Me either.
You have all of
the books. Okay, hold on. Check this out, though. Check this out. Hufflepuff. I only know that word from following other geeky like pages and stuff. What the hell is a Hufflepuff? Listen. In our defense, though, see, this is where the age gap comes in. Because look, I remember when the first Harry Potter came out, the movie. I was probably like in high school.
I was about to say, actually, no. Now that I think about it, the first book came out. I was 12. I was in like 6th grade, and I didn't even like it the first time around. It wasn't until book 3 that I actually really got into Harry Potter, and then I went back and read the first 2 books. I was like, see, that's the difference. So you was like 11, 12 or whatever. No, I was 16. First of all, don't blame me. I was 12.
What? I'm just saying, okay? It was like 1 year. Come on, Tom. It was like 1 year.
But look, man.
I was thinking about girls and where my next job and getting hooking up my friends at the McDonald's drive-thru as I was working at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking about.
I mean, that's fair. All my friends were reading Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, look,
All my
man.
friends were reading Harry Potter and trying to get me to watch anime.
Hilarious.
See, like I seen teens reading Harry Potter, adults, grown as folk reading Harry Potter. I could never get with it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
I saw the last one, the last Harry Potter movie, but
How do you start with the last
No,
movie?
please tell this man. Look,
How do you
listen.
start with the last movie?
Brandon, aka Stats Guy. Brandon is my friend, like he's my cousin too, and he's been this way his whole life. He does not have it could be a series, whatever. He does not have to see it from the beginning. He's cool. He'll jump right in the middle, whatever. I can't do it. I gotta have the whole experience.
that's pretty cool.
No, okay, no. I can be like in the middle-ish, but then I'm gonna be like, all right, no, I have to go back and watch it.
Because you're gonna
Like,
miss something.
Yeah. So it was like that when I watched Watchmen. My friends started watching it without me. So by the time I came in, they were on episode like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
So they caught me up, but I still needed to go back and watch the beginning. Cause like they were mad at me because I was getting references they didn't understand. They were like, "You just started watching this. How do you already know what's going on?" I was like,
To my
"Context
defense, I
clues,
planned
baby."
on going back and watching the other Harry Potters. I just never.
I don't recommend the movies. I don't. I
Really?
recommend. Yes, I recommend reading the books. A lot of the time, I recommend reading the book. It depends on what it is. Because Harry Potter is one of those things where it's like, sure, if you're just gonna watch the movies, if you're not actually into the story, watching the movie is fine. It's basically the same narrative, but like the books offer so much nuance and backstory, and there's like whole characters that like don't even appear in the movies that like make a big difference to the story. So that's for that reason I recommend the books. Lord of the Rings kind of goes either way for me. I'm like, I would prefer you read the books, but watching the movies is fine.
Yeah, those movies are great.
I do not recommend The Hobbit the movie at all.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, so because I'm not a huge Hobbit fan, but I think it's the whole ice cream and frozen yogurt thing for me. You would never catch me eating frozen yogurt, never.
Yeah,
and it's not because it's super trash. It's just that it's like ice cream, but not as good.
Right. It doesn't.
Yeah, so it's like the Hobbit and you know what I'm saying. The Lord of the Rings, kind of the same thing. Like if you never saw Lord of the Rings, would you feel a little bit different about the Hobbit?
So, no, because to me they're two parts of like the same. They're two parts of the same story, but they stand alone perfectly. So you don't need to have seen or consumed one to understand or enjoy the other. Not in any way, shape, or form. Especially if you've read the books, because J.R.R. Tolkien is mad long-winded. I told you guys earlier, I straight gave up on Fellowship of the Ring because it took so long to get to any real action. I did the exact same thing. I was going back and reading like literary classics. I went back to read The Hunchback of Notre Dame when I had the flu. I didn't get out of the first chapter. So I don't know if it's because like it's translated from French, but by the time this guy gets finished describing one column in one corner of one massive fucking room, and then he goes, and then you're just like, this paragraph is all about a column. Nigga,
well,
when do we get to?
You had a moment. You had a moment. That was a real.
I had the flu at the time too, and I was just like,
I can't front. I turn into a little bitch when I get sick. I don't want nothing but be in the bed and watch TV and eat junk food. Like I'm like, yo, for real. I'm like the manliest man, but if I get sick, I'm like, yo, fuck it.
So you're like every other man when you get sick?
Yes, the stereotype is kind of true. You know
Take care of me.
If I had to like jump up and like protect my kids or something like that, you know, I like to believe that I still could do that. But I'm like, yo, we're not in danger right now. We're good. I'm gonna just kind of be a bitch and like until my body fights this virus. You know what I'm saying?
Every man I know is just like, what do you mean you go to work when you're sick? And I'm like,
oh no, I work. Now I do. Now that I work for me, I do. I can't front. Brandon know this. I was quick when we used to work at Bank of America together back in the day. Let me be a little bit sick. I'm calling out. I'm just not. Can't go to work. Can't do it. Ain't gonna be able to do it.
Now that I have a job that offers me sick time, I'll be like, do I have enough sick time for this? I do.
Right.
I used to. Oh, that's right. G worked at Bank of America too. Who's on there? Teffy, you sure you ain't work at Bank of America?
I did. I know.
Common team. But yeah, like I used to like using my sick days to do what I wanted to do.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, I don't use my sick days when I have the flu. I use them to go on vacation. What are you talking about? My sick days, I'm sitting on the beach somewhere. I'm actually banking them right now because I'm going to Atlanta. I plan to go to Atlantic City next month.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Bruh, I'm trying to get away from my kid.
Forget them kids.
No, I love him to death, but because of coronavirus, neither one of us has had like any real time off. So we're going to visit my mom in a few weeks, and then I was like, but I also tell people when you go places with your kids, that's not vacation.
No, well, it is. Look, it is for the kids.
It's his vacation. It's a vacation for him, but not for me because I still work the entire time being his mom. My son has special needs on top of that, so I'm just like, I did not relax the entire time we were here. So when we come back, mommy's going to go to Atlantic City and probably just stare at the wallpaper because I won't have somebody calling my name every 10 minutes and I won't have to pick up the phone. Right. And I won't be at work picking up the phone. So
there you go.
That's what's up.
I got some questions for our dear host here.
You know what? Hold on. Before we get into that, like I would be remiss if because we kind of like touched on one night in Miami. Yeah. But like we just and it was rolling, so I won't go try to stop it tonight. But so okay, I think the main conflict in the movie obviously was Sam Cooke, Malcolm X, right? And it brought up this whole debate of okay, we know there's racist forces at work in America, just like today. You know what I'm saying? Even more so back in the 60s. So you got one guy, Malcolm X, who's on the front line, and you got another guy in Sam Cooke who's kind of doing it more so by the way of, you know, as I come up, maybe I can bring somebody with me. You know what I'm saying? So like what did you think about that debate? Because I think that's a debate that still happens today, like very often. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was dope how it just showed two different paths to the same outcome. Mm-hmm. It's more like, you know, one is like, you know, we got to have economic freedom. That's true freedom right there in a sense, because if we have more real estate, more higher spots in like politics,
like if we have more buying power than we have, that translates into other types of power,
right? Like, you know, we can do a whole lot more, but you know, with Malcolm, he's so militant, but he's so righteous that, you know, we have to do all that we can because every single day we are dying. I can only imagine back then how it was for just, you know, just being black, and then everywhere you go, you're being called a nigger, like it's you know, like saying your ABCs, like it was nothing, and we just had to like take it every single time. So it was just, again, like an acting force of just these two ideals clashing, but they're both trying to get to the same outcome.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say I agree with him, because like you said, they were doing it two different ways. It's a documentary on Sam Cooke on Netflix. Ooh, it was really good, but it was talking about how he was like one of the first persons to have ownership of his music, and he was trying to get other black artists to have ownership. So like you were saying, they were doing the same thing, but just going about it different ways. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's called Remastered: The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. It says the 2019 film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what it's called. I just Googled it real fast because I want to watch that. So when I watched it, it was like I had deja vu, because we get into this a lot on our show on Head Nerds in Charge, where we're like, this is what we think, how we think would be the best thing to help like the black community. And the crazy, and we also go back and forth a lot, like some of us think that Black people should go back to Africa. Some of us think that Black people should just dig in, like lean into American politics and civil service here in America, and that we should be trying to affect change in that way rather than leaving. And so we actually get into it a lot here on the show, and it gave me deja vu because it was like, yo, neither one of them was wrong. And more importantly, like, you want the same things. Like, you want economic freedom, and you want like civil rights. Like, everybody wants the same things, and it's okay that we don't necessarily agree on how to get there, as long as we're not hurting each other in the process. And like, it was interesting to see everybody take their jabs so personally, like in to different effects. So like when Cassius Clay makes fun of Jim Brown for going into movies, and Jim Brown was like, bro, what are you talking about?
I'm trying to save my knees.
Right. He was like, what do you like, that's a good paycheck, and I don't have to destroy my body. He was like, we both just dancing for the white man, just in different ways. Like, this just don't hurt my back as much. Like, what I'm doing is not wrong just because you don't think it would be worth it. Like, how is that? Muhammad Ali has, like, he had like Alzheimer's or whatever from taking one too many fucking hits to the face.
That's how he ended up dying.
Maybe had he went into movies, he'd have been
that's mad ironic. Yeah.
Right. I forget, and it was also really nice to see like these characters kind of like, even a fictionalized version of them kind of like fleshed out more, because like Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X are two characters whose histories I know fairly well, but Sam Cooke, I only really kind of knew like his music, and Jim Brown is, I was like, the guy who did the thing, right, with the football. like I didn't
definitely
know.
Activist too.
Yeah, so it was like, it was nice. Like, they were people I was aware of, but not figures that I was familiar with. So like, that was nice to kind of see them like all together and having such. What made me sad was that it's still such a relevant conversation. Like, we literally got into a fight about it on the show last week. Talking about how Black Lives Matter and Stacey Abrams have been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And we ended up arguing about whether or not it would be worth it for Black people to go back to Africa, build wealth, and then come back to America, or whether we should be trying to like pull money and build wealth here in America and change the system from the inside. And you
know what? It's funny. Yeah. I was just thinking about that a couple of days ago, and the reason I'm not against people who want to go back to Africa. You know, you can do what you want. I understand why you would think that way. But my whole thing is, and the reason I'm like, nah, we're going to grind it out here, is because I feel like my ancestors like paved the way, you know what I'm saying, for me to have more freedoms than they had. And it's like, America owes us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here to collect.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna pay what you owe. What Riley say on the Boondocks? You know, Santa go pay what he owe. Yeah. Was it Riley or was it Huey?
I'm pretty sure it was Riley, because he crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like something Riley would say. They shot Santa Claus with some BB guns. Like, yeah, he gonna pay what he owe. America is gonna pay what they owe. You know, but
I feel the exact same way, because unfortunately my father's mother passed away a few years ago, and she could trace her heritage back to like the slave boat that landed at like the Virginia North Carolina state line, and that is literally where her family begins, in a sense. So, and there was a Indian reservation right there, so it's like literally not to say that that's not where my history started, but that's where my family started, like, in a sense. And my family, we are super patriotic. Like, most of the men in my family have all served in the United States, like, armed forces. So I'm like, this is my country. I don't have any ties to Africa. Not to say that I don't have any like distant relatives, but that's not my home. That's a vacation destination. That's somewhere I'd like to visit. This is my home. 100% believe that like we can affect real change by making real like positive steps like in politics and in our communities the same way that Asian Americans do. I feel like we can do that too. The only downside is I'm like you can't put out a fire from inside the house. So like I get it.
Damn, that was deep.
And it's
Ours.
I'm gonna start using that. Like, I'm gonna start using that.
when you really
I'm not
think
giving you
it's
credit
really
either.
not that long ago.
Say
Like
again,
everything
sir?
is really not that long ago. We had a family reunion last year.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but we found out that our grandfather's grandma was a slave.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's like, wow, that's not
Yeah.
really that long ago.
No,
That's why when people say like, you know, kind of like they're like get over it. I'm like, yo, you don't understand how human beings work, how history works. You can say something like that if everything is cool now, and it's been 1,000 years. When we're talking about the period we were just talking about, the 60s, that's just one generation ago. You know what I'm saying?
That's not even
That's not long ago.
my great grandmother will be 99 this year. That was her real life. That was my grandmother will be 77, I believe, because they're 22 years apart. My grandmother will be 77 this year. That's her childhood. My mother and father were born in 1967 and 1967 and 1966 respectively. That is their real, like my mother was born like the year before Martin Luther King was like assassinated or something like that.
Wow.
That is her real life. These are their real experiences. You can't tell me to get over it because I was raised by people who lived this life. Like like Wanda Sykes makes a joke about it. She goes, oh, "White people are looking at you, bro." I've had my grandma say that. Like,
yeah, that's what her mom
there is no getting over it.
Right.
I say that to my son sometimes. He don't. I say it as a joke. He's got autism. He don't get it. But also, I don't care if white people are looking at me.
See, that's newer generation. You know what I'm saying? We're the newer generation, you know?
Right.
But G, you said you had some questions for our guest?
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, go ahead, man.
G,
No!
hold on. About the movie, Aldous Hodge, the one that played on Jim Brown.
Yeah.
That was the first movie I ever saw him in that I thought he could actually act in.
Oh no, we're
gonna fight.
We're gonna fight on
We're
that.
gonna
Bro.
fight.
Never thought he.
No, that boy acts, man. Nah, bro.
Aldous Hodge.
Aldous Hodge acts his
if you want to
face off.
some of his early stuff, maybe was like, but
Watch Underground.
2 years ago. It was a movie he did like 2 years ago.
He did a movie on The Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
First of all, The Invisible Woman was a trash movie, not because he was in it, because it was trash. So
Don't get me
started. Don't get me started on how bad that movie actually is. It's supposed to be a feminine masterpiece. I'm about to punch Elizabeth Moss in her taint. I swear to God.
Never been an Aldous Hodge, and Aldous Hodge is playing Hawkman, I think.
First of all, Aldous Hodge has been every militant black man in every movie I have ever seen in like the last 10 years. He was in Hidden Figures and he plays Janelle Monáe's militant husband.
Right about that. Yeah.
He's the militant black slave who runs away in Underground. I love Aldous Hodge. You gonna put some respect on his name, or we will.
Never been an Aldous Hodge fan.
Come on, bro. Hey, hold on. Let me just go ahead and just mute Brandon's audio. We don't need to hear nothing else Stats guy needs to say. But G, you said you have some questions, man.
I do. So Teffy, on y'all show, y'all interviewed the great, the talented Phil Lamar. You all know him for voicing Jon Stewart, Samurai Jack, tons of different characters, and he does acting too. Mad TV's when I first saw him ever. Mm-hmm. So, how was that? How that came to be, and you know how much of a cool guy he is.
Okay, so we didn't interview him on the show. I think we showed it on the show. We actually interviewed Phil Lamar at the Great Allentown Comic-Con back in 2019, and it was. Funny
Life
story.
Was good.
Right back before Corona,
Mhm.
back before the world fell apart. Life was good. I was even busier somehow than I am now. But that was actually really great. Me and the main host Kurt, we actually kind of got into a little tiff the day before because we were actually supposed to interview him Saturday and not Sunday, but we got into like this little thing and the whole thing blows over. So then the next day we come back and it's pouring down, raining. I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was supposed to have a babysitter, and the babysitter flaked on me, so I ended up having to bring my son to Allentown in the pouring rain. Kurt was like, "Hey, listen, I really appreciate you coming. I know that this wasn't supposed to happen like this. We're just gonna get this interview, and then we're gonna bounce. I swear." So I was like, "Okay, it's fine." So the guys were really great. They both helped me like keep my son entertained and keep him from like running off. There was a Spider-Man impersonator he kept running up to. Awesome. So, but the day is like wearing on and we're like, bro, we are just here for this fucking Phil Lamar interview. Where is he? And we can see his table from where we are. So I was like, and because I had kind of started the argument the day before, I was like, bet I have got to make this right. So I take my son and you know how you do when you go to cons. You kind of mosey and meander around to the different tables and looking at different booths. I wave hello to the guy that I interviewed the day before, wave to like somebody else. My son kept trying to steal pops from the two pops ladies who were in front of us selling stuff. So it was fine. So what happens is I meander my way over to Phil Lamar and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pay for the photo and just be real smooth with it. So I come up and I'm just like, hi, can I get my photo? And I wave my little $20 in his face. And so we're coming up and I got my son with me and I can show you guys the picture. Yeah, no, I can show you guys the picture. Actually, so I come up and he's like, oh, hey, da 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 da, nicest guy in the fucking world. And we're getting ready to take the picture. And I was like, oh, well, I know you're supposed to come over to our table for an interview, but I just really couldn't wait to meet you. And he was like, interview? And I was like, yeah, I'm from Head Nerds in Charge. And I'm like pointing over my shoulder. And he goes, oh my God, that's right. So he was like, I would have given you a picture for free. And I was like, you know how it is with the guys. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So we get in and we take our picture and I literally fucking walk Phil Lamar back over to our table and Curtis's fucking face drops. He's like, what did you do? Because he's like, oh my God, that's fucking Phil Lamar. And I'm like, he's here for our interview. So I paid $20 to get a couple of pictures of Phil Lamar with that's me. Hold on, because the light is, but that's me and my son and Phil Lamar.
Dope.
Yes, so that's me and my son with Phil Lamar at the Allentown Comedy Con. And it was great because actually I didn't get a chance to take a picture with him afterwards.
At least you got that one.
Yeah, so it was great. So yeah,
I gave you $20 back.
No, Curtis did actually. He was like, I'm gonna give you $20 back. You didn't have to do that. And I was like, no, I did. I was like, no, I did. He like bought me food. He bought me dinner, I think later, and he ended up paying me back.
Okay,
but I was
cool,
like,
cool.
I was like, Phil Lamar's here for our interview. Like a psycho. But we got the interview and Curtis made him laugh. It was great.
All right, so look, check this out real quick because we're running out of time. Look at the time is ticking down now. I've noticed, like I remember, like you said at the beginning of the show that you do like cosplay. So personally, like I like it. I just don't do it except for like usually it's Halloween when I do it. But every time I do it, it's fun. I always try to make my own costume though. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's the challenge. That's the challenge for me, trying to like do it. So look, talk to me a little bit about just the way that cosplay is kind of like growing in the geeky community or whatever.
Okay, so I didn't know cosplay was like a real thing until I got to be an adult and started going to conventions.
Right.
Because then I was like, wait, y'all niggas dress up like this in the daytime? That's dope.
Like, word?
Yeah, so I didn't know it was a real thing till I got to be like older, because I was just like, oh, because you meet impersonators at parties, but you're just like, that's just something they do at parties. No, there are people that do this all the time, and cons are a real big thing, and it's not creepy and weird like my mom kind of led me to believe it was. So I kind of got into it because I love to dress up and show out. I told you guys I did musical theater and theater in high school, and I did dance before that, and I played sports. So I'm used to like being in front of people and acting weird and goofy. So that's just like my thing. So I thought, I didn't know it was like a big thing until like I kind of got hooked up with the guys on the show. And then you start meeting people and you're just like, bro, you do what?
Mm-hmm.
You start following people on Instagram and you're just like, oh, you do that. I know people who build cosplays for other people, and I'm like,
Bruh, I've seen it.
yeah. So I think it's actually super cool. Hashtag Black cosplayers rock, Black girl cosplayers rock. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but white people think they own everything. You don't. We are coming for you. Okay, thanks. Bye. Not only do we do it, but we do it way fucking better because we're much more creative.
And in your face.
No, it's really weird. It's so weird.
We love everybody, but in your face.
No, it's really weird to hear white people argue over characters that are Japanese. Be it like they're not black, they're not white either.
Like, and it's a costume, dude. It's make believe. Just like, chill out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and we're all fans here, are we not?
Right.
So
exactly.
Can you get off my back, bro? So I've had a couple of people like troll me in my comments, and I'm just like, I can make you famous, bro. Like our Facebook, the Head Nerds in Charge Facebook fan page is up to almost 120,000 fans on Facebook.
Talk that shit, Tough. Talk your shit.
Okay.
We got an audience of over 40 million people last year, and last month we hit 32 million. I can make you famous, ugly.
Clap it up.
No doubt. No doubt.
I like that. There we go.
About to put one of Clue's bombs in here, like Charlemagne. Drop one of Clue's bombs for Head Nerds in Charge.
That's right.
No, definitely. So I mean, I'm just like, it's all love and it's all fans, and we're all fans. So I think that to me is what should be the standout thing. That's what should be important, not whether you make your cosplay, not whether you buy your cosplay, not whether you think the person that you're cosplaying should be the same skin tone as you. The thing is that we're all fans and we all love this thing, and as long as we're all giving our all to do it, that is what's the most important.
Exactly. We want to thank our guest, Teffy Wonder, for showing out. Clap it up one more time for Teff. Make sure y'all, that's a weak clap, man. Come on, clap it up a little bit more. I was like, trying to play it up for the camera, like, really clap. Shout out to Head Nerds in Charge. Follow us at Geek Salad now. Subscribe to our YouTube page if you like what we're doing. We got more stuff on the way. Teff, you want to quickly give them your socials?
I am at Teffy Wonder on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow Head Nerds in Charge everywhere. We even have our own headnerdsincharge.com. We stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch Wednesdays 8-ish to 10-ish, because Black people ain't on time for nothing. But follow us. We are at Head Nerds in Charge, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter.